on doubt that that offer was only there to placate the fans, knowing that that we wouldn't be able to take up that vote. It was only there to placate the fans. Will you resign as chairman and as a director of Port Vale Football Club?
What evidence are you talking about? You're not prepared to talk to me properly, and you're going to talk about different things, and if this comes to light, if that comes to light, then I will not make a decision. If you come to me with any information which says that offer was not made by the board, if you come to me with that information, I'll then consider that information and see. But I was in that room and I know...
The offer was made. My question in terms of yourself and your resignation is that the offer was disingenuous and it was there just to placate the fans.
Well, it wasn't disingenuous, so that's the end of that, and it wasn't done to...
Okay. So would you resign if that was the case?
No. What it was... No, I'm sorry, Martin. What it was that the board realised change was needed. There's no doubt about that at all. They realised change was needed, and that was one way of starting to move forward and make some change. How do you mean what did it do? Yeah. Sort of like a service for Christmas, isn't it? Everybody can vote the way that they feel like they're going to vote, and that's what happened at that meeting.
Right, just one final time.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you really don't want to answer it, but we'll ask you once again. But if evidence comes to light that the offer was only there to placate the fans, would you resign?
It doesn't need a yes or no. What I'm saying to Malcolm is, Malcolm thinks that the offer was made just to solve the conscience of the fans. That's what he's saying to me. And I'm saying to you, it was not made like that. Well, you say you know. You were in that room. Well, if he's got some evidence, then let's hear it now in front of everybody else. Not in a week's time. Let's hear it, Malcolm. Come on. I don't want to get into a row. Malcolm, you're beating around the bush. You tell me what evidence you've got for that. What you said is, you are disingenuous.
Answer this question.
Okay, so it's not my decision whether to release that information.
Well, then it's not my decision to give you an answer to it, Malcolm. Come on, you've come up with the evidence now in front of everybody else, and I'll give you an answer. I'm serious. That's fair. Is that fair? So you don't think it's fair that should be any evidence that Malcolm's got should be put forward to me at this point?
A lot of things not fair.
Hold on a second, just a second.
What about the evidence that the security
Hi folks, if we can, I think Malcolm has asked a question and we've seen what the response is and we need to move on from it. Steve, can I just put something back to yourself please? And we'll do it.
Well, follow up. Okay, so a lot of this discussion is about establishing and rebuilding relations between the board and the fans. It takes a few seconds to destroy trust. It takes potentially years to rebuild it again. Bearing in mind the supporting desire of the church board to reopen communications with the supporters and bring the club closer together, would yourself and Terry care to explain their thinking behind the issuing of such provocative and confrontational statements in response to Mark Sims and Nigel Deakin developments? In particular, would they be kind enough to clarify one of the comments near the end that seemed to state that genuine supporters could only be to agree with the board? They would agree that such inflammatory remarks will do little to restore harmony in the club and indeed will only cause further divisions.
What statements are you talking about? So that we know what you're talking about.
It was reported in the Sentinel. In the last paragraph, it referred to the need for genuine supporters.
Sorry, yeah, genuine supporters.
Genuine supporters. There was a belief that there was a statement made about Mark Sims and about Nigel Deakin It made comments about Nigel, about feelings of dishonesty towards the way that he has approached the board in terms of him coming in with investment. It then later said in the document that they believed that genuine supporters would understand and would back him. Now this has caused a lot of resentment amongst a lot of fans who would otherwise be coming back to the cause, would be coming back to your belief. It was a divisive statement.
Okay, if that's the general opinion of the room, we would have to accept that as a board and CEO. If you weren't happy with that statement, we'd have to accept maybe we got that wording wrong. However, I think when it was written, it was written with genuine intention to just try and move forward. And you know, we're talking very much. And Nigel's here, but Nigel doesn't speak for himself, I'm sure. But Nigel issued a statement stating quite clearly that he'd acted dishonestly in terms of his discussions with the board of directors at Port Vale. So I think perhaps in this particular instance, with Nigel's proposal to join the board, I think perhaps both sides have something to learn.
I totally agree. And I think that in terms of the way that press releases have been handled on this whole debacle, on both sides, I think there are some very strong lessons to be learned. Which brings me nicely on to my second question. Nantwich Town, please can we have a full and frank explanation? Honesty would be appreciated.
Yes, I was involved in that at the end, so I can tell you about that with a degree of confidence. There was some discussion and disagreement with Nantwich Town about whether money was owed to them for the use of their training facilities. We agreed to play, and bear in mind I came into it later on, but I did deal with it at the end. And by the way, Nantwich Town are very happy now with the outcome. We received a bill which I understood from our club secretary shouldn't be paid. Nantwich insisted that the bill was paid, and it was to do with use of their all-weather pitches in poor weather, which we had. But our understanding as a club was that because we play friendly there every season and let them keep all the proceeds, that was contrary against use of their facilities. Nantwich insisted that there was also the transfer of a player involved in that, and that caused a lot of general confusion. And what we had was a situation where I've got a club assistant manager saying one thing, our club assistant manager saying one thing, club secretary saying almost the same but something slightly different, and Nantwich's chairman, who was chairman after the event that all these discussions took place, was saying something entirely different. In the end, after a lot of toing and froing, we paid a bill for the use of facilities, and we've agreed to play a friendly. We were trying to do it before Christmas this year, but I think both parties agreed it's probably best to wait until pre-season next year and everybody's happy. So we paid a bill of around about £1,000 for use of facilities, and agreed that any agreement we have in future will be put into writing, which I think would suit everybody.
I'm sure we're all happy with.
I think Nantwich 95% of the case, yeah, we're right actually, and I've told their chairman that. I think Nantwich's chairman is on record saying that he's happy and we've paid.
I'm sure we're all glad that the matter is now resolved. However, it is still a fair reflection of the poor level of professionalism and the level of business acumen that has been used by the previous board in the running of this club, when obviously one area of the club cannot speak to another without them understanding what is going on in the background.
I think that there's no two ways about that, but you know, what I'm hoping is we can move forward and get it right more often than not moving forward, which actually is part of my job.
Which then immediately brings me to, sorry.
Just to bring a little bit of humour into it, because you know we used to be, my company used to be the shirt sponsors, back the shirt sponsors at the Vale, so I got to know quite a lot of people there. And prior to Perry coming along, Circle Fair, I asked one member of a particular department, commercial department, to bring something up at the next departmental meeting, and they said like, what's a departmental meeting? And I said, well, it's where the heads of each department talk to each other, what's going on. And they go, oh well, Well, I did meet Bill, Lodi and Bratty in the toilets. So I think we all accept there's been some need for improvement at Port Vale Football Club, and I hope that Perry as Chief Exec is actually addressing that side of the business as much as what he's trying to address the commercial income side of the business.
You know, going forward, we're going to have a complete change of board. You've all wanted Bill to go, you've all wanted Glenn to go, that is now happening, and there will be new people coming onto the board to move it forward. Certainly, I agree entirely with Perry that, and I'm repeating myself, that in the past it has not been good and needs to improve, and is now being improved very rapidly.
That brings me nicely onto a personal question that I've got, which is not on the list that I've got from everybody else. For me, as much of a concern is not necessarily the money that's coming in, it's the business acumen that's coming with it, and who the new board members will be, and what their credentials are, and what they can bring to this club to help to drive us forward. At the moment, we have had Mark Sims come forward. I've had lengthy discussions with Mark. I'm a businessman myself. I understand what's required, for example, a business plan. What I want to know is, what will be the makeup of the board in 3 months' time, and will it have the level of expertise to run this club in a professional manner?
Two questions there. First of all, I can't tell you what the makeup of the board will be in 3 months, because any changes to the board will have to be voted for by shareholders. So there are things we will propose as a football club in terms of new directors, and then it's up to shareholders to vote in. What I can tell you is that the people that we propose for directorships of the club will have substantial business and football acumen, both in both cases, football and business.
We'll wait and see.
Right, first of all, first question. Can you hear me all right? Yep. First question is not my question, it's that young gentleman over there. And it's quite a good point, I think. He said, you made a statement a few minutes ago that you've been pro-change for the last 12 months.
Correct.
Why was it in that case, when you had the chance at the EGM to use your vote for pro-change, why did you vote with the flow?
I didn't just vote with the flow. I looked at the position myself and the suggestions that were being made and the offer that was on the table, although it wasn't that detailed an offer, I can assure you. And we never saw a business plan, as you all know. If you remember, Mo said he didn't think he needed to produce a business plan. I think he's ended up with the same one. And I made my decision and didn't vote with the board. As you know, I voted against the board, as it were, on the minute issue, and I made my own decision that I thought that there could be better and different options out there. Simple as that.
Yeah, but at the EGM, Mike, you must admit, that was the golden opportunity to get things altered. And you blew it. Let's be honest, you blew it.
I blew it.
You blew it quite simply because if you'd have put your size 8, you'd have put that in against the people you were sitting alongside who, it's an open secret, none of you can stand aside to one another. If you'd have done that, you'd have done what you're talking you want to do. Talk's cheap.
Well, I can only repeat myself. I made a decision on what was there, what I saw on the table. I also knew in the background that there were other offers out there, there were other things on the table, and I thought it better to see what was there and to see if there's anything better than what was on offer. And I considered that there were better things on offer, and I made a decision purely myself. Each director or shareholder could make up their own decisions on that one. As it happened, it didn't quite go through. I understand that. I understand the disappointment with that. But that was the decision I made, and it was my decision alone.
Why was the
£50,000 spent to buy Romney's votes and not on the promotion push of that season?
yeah, the season was over, but I don't.
It's still going to be more money in playing fund.